Hello and welcome to your next lesson, Year 5. Today we're going to be looking at two types of punctuation. Let's start with the quotation marks. So for our quotation marks we have these. Now they're just like that at the moment because we're just demonstrating what they look like. However, I would never want to see you actually just do that in your writing. That's a terrible idea. We got another oh dear. Okay. So we have quotation marks. This is how we spell quotation. Again, nice word to learn to spell. Now, it's very easy. Our uses are to show dialogue. So when we're actually speaking from one person to the other, not your internal monologue that we sometimes write about when we're thinking. It's direct speech from one person to the other. All right, let's have a look at these rules. Quotation marks show exactly what the speaker says. They indicate where the speaker begins talking and where they finish. Very important. If we're writing a story, we need the reader to know what's being said out loud and what is being thought in their heads or as an action. Okay, if you can't tell the difference between what someone's doing and what someone's saying out loud, it's going to be very, very, very confusing story. When direct speech commences mid-sentence, use a comma before the question marks and a capital letter at the beginning of the speaking. So whenever we start speaking, we need a capital letter. When direct speech finishes mid-sentence, continue the sentence with a lowercase letter. This is one of those ones where we're really going to need those examples to look at. So the first one is, when my friend came over, I said, so we know this is mid-sentence. This is where the sentence started. This is where the sentence is going to end. We are absolutely 100% in the middle of the sentence. So we put a comma. We put our quotation marks. And we absolutely put a capital letter. Hey, Stefan, comma, but for other reasons. We should ride our bikes to the beach. Full stop goes inside the quotation marks. Okay? The quotation mark being here. That is the end of the speech. But when he's talking, he has his own capital letter and full stop. His words make a sentence, and so it needs to be right on there. All right, let's have a look at the next one. Thank you for coming to my party, she said to her friends. So, when this one is a really good example of this one. It's finished in the middle of the sentence, pretty much. So we start with our quotation marks because we're starting with that speech. We're starting with a capital letter because firstly it started the sentence now, so it has to have one, but it's also because it is the start of the speech. Thank you for coming to my party. Now it's not the end of the sentence, so we're going to have our comma, then our quotation marks because the speech has finished. Very good. She said to her friends. Now we are at the end of the sentence, so we are completing that. But unlike here, we do have this she, just a normal lowercase letter. All right, then we got some big speech. All right, it indicates where the neighbor is yelling, when the neighbor has stopped yelling. So let's have a look. What are you doing? Get out of my backyard, the neighbor yelled as I was getting my flying disc off his lawn. So we can see a couple of things. Quotation mark, tick. Capital letter, tick. Ooh, we've got a question mark here, which means the next letter must be a very good capital letter. Good job. And we've ended with an exclamation mark because we're either showing emphasis or we're being loud. For this one, because the neighbor yelled, we are assuming it is because it is loud. Because it ends in the middle of a sentence and we have not moved on, we are now keeping the in the sentence as a lowercase letter. We are ending with a full stop because our concept, idea, or main point has been finished with this sentence. All right, good examples. Next one. Dun, dun, dun. We're looking at the colon. Now, the colon is 2 dots over here. And I'd really like to be able to just be like, nope, I've made a mistake. How do I do this? Is an eraser. Look, there's an eraser. Yay. Who doesn't love an eraser? All right, let's get the pen out. The colon. The colon is going at the same size as the lowercase letters, not the uppercase letters. Okay, so it's the same as the lowercase s, not the uppercase t. This is how we spell it. I do not think we need to add this to our spelling list, as it is a very easy word to sound out, and I have no worries about that. When do we use it? We use it to indicate the beginning of a list. Very good. We use that with our commas when we're using a list as well. And to introduce a series of examples. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a big colon here because I'm about to give you a whole lot of examples on how to use it. Let's go. All right. Our rules. Look, we're already using it. We've used it right here. All right. I'm about to start examples, aren't I? I'm also using dot points here. Always good to use it before you start using dot points. Place a colon just before introducing a number of items within a sentence. When using bullet points for a list, use a colon to introduce the list. Let's have a look at our examples. I know it's an example, so I'm introducing it with yet another colon. For camp, make sure you bring your gear. Colon. Sleeping bag. And then remember, when we're using commas, we use them also to make lists. So sleeping bag, comma, toothbrush, and warm clothes. So remember, when we're listing within the sentence, we must use that comma. We must use that colon. And the last item must always end with a and or. So that we don't accidentally bring to camp a sleeping bag, toothbrush, and warm clothes, because a sleeping bag toothbrush would be a toothbrush for a sleeping bag. Do not bring one of those to camp. It does not sound fun. All right, our next example. You may have seen one of your parents writing these up. At the grocery store, I need to buy. Nice and easy. I've introduced the fact that I'm about to make a list. I have my dot points ready to go. You can also, when I do my shopping, I like to make sure that my dot points look like this. So when I found it, give it a nice big tick. Milk, cookies, strawberries. Now for this one, you can see that because I've used the dot points, I don't have to use the colons. Sorry, the commas. My gosh. I do not put a comma at the end of my list. I do, however, finish it off with a full stop. Oh my gosh, I'm going to stop trying to write today. So yes, that is our rules and examples. Fantastic. Now we've got another sentence study. We're going to be looking for capital letters, full stops, commas, question marks, exclamation marks, apostrophes, quotation marks, and colons. Right? So as a class, We're going to read over the following paragraph, locate the punctuation features, and discuss how those features add to the meaning of the text. Click on the tabs to locate and highlight the select punctuation focus. Now for the last lesson, I made it really obvious what was happening. So I'm going to take my pen off. I'm going to go into my laser pointer mode, and I'm going to allow you to have a good read of that before I get started. So let me give you a moment. Fantastic. Good job, guys. Alright, I'll get my laser pointer out. Dear junior baseball team member, are you coming to the next scheduled baseball game? We will be starting practice at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Today, can you please bring your permission forms and the following items: bat, ball, protective gear, and team uniform. Don't forget your protective gear at all costs. If you do not bring this, you will not be able to play. I have listened to the weather report and it said sunny with 80% humidity. It will be a good idea to apply sunscreen and make sure that you bring plenty of water. See you there, Coach. Nice and easy. Hopefully you've spotted lots of examples of capital letters, full stops, commas, question marks, exclamation marks, apostrophes, quotation marks, and colons. So remembering that quotation marks and colons are our focus for today's lesson, but I still want you to be seeing and using examples of all punctuation in any of your reading and writing. All right, nice one. Capital letters. Did you get them all? Did you notice some? Saturday, days of the week, always get a capital letter. Sometimes, just a little bit. Sometimes, when I read your writing, I'm noticing that the days of the week, not getting the capital letter attention it deserves. We can see that at the start of every sentence, we have a capital letter, but also when we've got our quotation marks here, it is the middle of the sentence, not the start of the sentence, the middle of the sentence. We now have a capital S. I think I just gave out the quotation mark part, but you will forgive me. As we can see, there are lots of full stops in a color that's a little bit hard to see, so follow me. Full stop, full stop, full stop, full stop, full stop, not a full stop, doesn't need one. Commas, super easy. This one, especially when we're writing a letter, we don't start the letter with the introduction. We don't actually put a full stop. It's just an odd thing that we do. So we put a comma. We then start a paragraph below with that capital letter. And it's only for, this one is only used in examples such as emails and letters. Anything else doesn't count. We can see that today, comma. Then we've got the following items. So we're starting a list. We've got bat, comma, ball, comma, protective gear. And because we've made a list, the last one must have a and. Very good. All right. Question marks. Are you coming to the next scheduled baseball game? This one. So you could say, are you aware that it's going to be sunny today? Are you coming to the next game? These things are questions. So we must put a question mark at the end. Exclamation mark. This coach is obviously very happy to see his baseball team because he's got that there. He is not saying that loudly. He is emphasizing. He's not screaming. He's emphasizing, saying that's important. It's exciting. Apostrophe. Let's go. We've only got one apostrophe today. Well, I mean, one example. We've got two don'ts, but we don't have yet any other examples. So let's get the pen out. Hopefully all of you have already noticed it and said, but Miss River, it means when we break it apart, do, next part, not. You can even read that as it was originally intended. Do not forget your protective care at all costs. If you do not bring this, don't. Bit a bit more informal. All right, our quotation marks, our study points. Who is speaking when he's put the quotation marks here? It is not, I repeat, not the coach. He has listened to a weather report. So that means that someone on the radio has said, today it will be sunny with 80% humidity. So he's reporting what it said, and because it is a direct speech, he must put quotation marks. And our lovely use of the colon today. We are starting a list. We are starting a list that uses commas, not dot points, bat, ball, protective gear, and team uniform. Remember, without those commas, it would be a bat ball or a bat ball protection gear. Makes no sense, right? So we have indicated we're about to start a list. We have used the commas to separate our list, and because team uniform is the end of it, we have used the word and. Oh, by the time you guys do your reading, you are going to have this down. You're going to be so good at this. All right. Your next lesson, due to popular demand, is the semicolon. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this mini lesson. Remember, we are writing letters and or short stories using our mind maps to demonstrate our learning, and I can't wait to read all of your work. Thank you very much.